All right, good morning, everybody. Thanks for coming on with us. I'm Stephanie Taylor. I'm the sales director here at Crowe and Associates. We have Care Partners joining us today. We have Dave Pilata and Eric. I'm going to slaughter your last name, so I'm going to let you introduce yourself. But I
Hi,
did, and Chad, of course. Chad, of course,
I'm
who's
Eric.
sharing the screen with us.
I'm Eric Blymeister.
Oh, there you go. Maybe I wouldn't have done so bad.
Not so
But
bad, yeah.
thank you guys. I want to thank you for coming on today. I want to thank you for presenting your products to our agents just to educate them on some great options during this OEP. We still have another month to help clients out that, maybe aren't satisfied with what they chose or maybe are finding out it's not quite what they thought. So we wanted to bring Care Partners on to present to us what their offerings are so everybody's educated. So guys, I will let you take it away.
Awesome. Thank you so much. And yeah, we really appreciate all the support that we've gotten. We've had an incredibly strong AEP, and as OEP is evolving, we are just continuing that momentum throughout. As you'll see in the next couple of slides, we just continue to try to make our product and our brand and our network better, and just continue to improve upon it and have consistency as we go about doing that, because we all appreciate the fact as brokers, and I've been in your shoes, that consistency is a very important thing. So Chad, if you could drop the next slide. So currently our network is been one that has evolved from a boutique to a formidable. 2 years ago, we were able to introduce Yale and Northeast Medical Group and Pro Health onto our platform. Without having those before, we did have a good network, but it is such a more robust one now. It more than doubled our size when we added those. We have since that time been, continuing to fine tune, add to, physical therapy and occupational, to the specialists, the smaller, the independents, and, continue to make our product and the network just that much better. Excuse me. Um, Recent addition was just this past 2 weeks ago. No, you can go, Chad. Yeah, thanks. Was Trinity. So that was the one thorn in the side that we had for us, that we wished we had had during AEP. Although we're truly blessed with the fact that we did pick it up now, and ultimately this is making a big significance for us. One of the components of Trinity is what's called SOAN, and it's an acronym for Southern New England Healthcare. And they are a Trinity focused or Trinity based provider group. They used to all be under Trinity. They broke off onto their own, but still have a very close allegiance and alliance to Trinity. And so that was actually a piece that we thought was going to be more cumbersome to get than Trinity itself, but it turned out to be just the opposite. And so we added SOAN at the end of the year around November, and so all of those providers are already in network for us. We've also added Gaylord Hospital rehab facilities and their 5 facilities that they've got. Again, we just continue to expand. So Trinity, because we had relationships with some of those doctors within our Point 32 Health, which is our parent company organization, some of those doctors in the credentialing process will go quite quickly. Others will take a little bit longer. Usually we say about 45 days. But there are 1,200 providers that we are working on and bringing on into the network. So between them and the docs with SOAN, that's another 1,500 doctors that we're adding onto the network, which is fabulous. So that gets us into all of the Connecticut-based, but also Mercy Medical Center up in I want to say Springfield, I believe it is, Mass. So now I guess we're regional. um, that in addition to it's now called Brown University Health. I forget the name that it used to be, but they've recently switched over to Brown University Health, and that's in Rhode Island. So we are truly expanding, and hope in the near future that we're able to really reciprocate with our sibling plans and networks so that we're able to offer really a truly regional experience. Any questions on this? I know that this is something that has certainly been desperately requested by the broker community. So if anybody has any questions on this or timing, um, I can stop. I don't know if you see anything, Stephanie.
Yep. I'm checking the chat and the questions box, and there's nothing in there yet. If anybody
Okay.
feels, wants to ask anything, but feel free throughout the presentation, and we'll definitely get to all your
Sure.
questions and concerns by the end.
Great. Next slide, Chad. So this is a poke at a peek at our plans from last year, and changes that we made and the evolution of that. And again, it's that consistency and improvement that I think that we're really focused on trying to get to. So you see the reds obviously are a change, but I want to address some of those as we go down. But there's also a lot of green on there as well. And so we've made some huge improvements to our plan. Some areas that had been, a challenge for us competitively, like outpatient diagnostic radiology. We had been at 250 pretty much since the beginning. And finally, we're able to get that down to a much more reasonable cost and competitive cost. And as we're doing that, other competitors are actually going in the opposite direction. So it is a very, very competitive price now at $150 copay. Urgent care dropped down, and obviously our dental product, which on our PPO plan is very attractive because it is essentially just a Visa card. There's no network. It's just dollars given to that member to be able to go utilize. Um, the DME did go from a copay to a co-insurance, so we see that as a downgrade. ER obviously did go up a bit, but again, we were at 90 where most others had already made the move in 2024. So we made a slight increase to that, but it certainly doesn't put us in a non-competitive situation. The observation observes to be quite a significant change. But ultimately, that $0 copay for the observation, so it's at a hospital, um, likely that individual is going to be having some tests and procedures done to try to determine what they're there for, and those would have had costs. So it's almost a bit more transparent now that going in what that observation cost would be, $395. Essentially, it's the cost of a hospital day if you were admitted. But this is if you were 2 or 3 days in observation, it would just be that $395. So I think it's a little bit more transparent, and I know that getting a member to have a knowledge of what they can expect to pay is certainly important than being surprised. So I think that that's a positive thing. And the nursing care went up a bit, and we were able to increase the eyewear. One of the big advantages that we had, and something that we always have had on our HMO, is what we call our wellness allowance, and we brought it back. It's been a few years since it's been on the PPO plan, but we brought it back. And what this is a benefit, and we've expanded on its qualifications. But essentially, it's a Fitbit, it's a Apple Watch, it's money that can be put towards certain items, home health equipment. It could be put towards Pilates classes. If you had a gym membership that didn't get covered by Silver Sneakers completely, you could put that money towards that. You could put it towards pickleball as long as it was a year-round type of a facility. And so it's really quite a great benefit. And again, $250 towards that. Um, some of these extras, I think you'll see between not only us but the other carriers are going to get chipped away in 2026. So certainly make sure that your clients take advantage of these things, as they are still there now. Next slide, please. So this goes just a little deeper, and as I mentioned, so with the PPO plan, it has a what we call our Flex Advantage dental card, and it's both a dental card as well as the OTC. So it essentially has two buckets within that one card for the PPO member. And it's just like it sounds. It's a $1,500 Visa card. And so the member is able to go to any dentist that they want, and they're essentially paying as, a freestanding member, and they swipe the card. And it's that there's no claim forms to do, nothing to get reimbursement for. It's just a matter of going in and swiping that card. So it's incredibly appreciated by the members. So one downside to it is that they lose the contracted rate. We have certainly seen where some folks, have multiple lines of coverage. Depending on where that comes from, that can certainly be helpful, because now they have a contracted rate, plus they have this Visa card to be able to spend within it. So certainly something, if you want to combine products together, it might be a good way to go about doing that. And then our OTC, so it's $102 per quarter on the PPO card. And the nice thing about this is, unfortunately, it doesn't roll over, but the access that someone has for this is, it's online, it's over the catalog, it's over the phone. They can also go to retail locations to get this stuff. They can actually go to the App Store and download Nation's OTC, and are able to actually scan items while they're at the store to confirm that they are covered items under the OTC benefit. So doesn't include food, but does include quite a bit other. So it's again a nicely received benefit, and I like it on a quarterly basis. It's not something that someone needs to remember monthly to do, but it also allows you to buy a little bit more expensive of an item than the monthly can possibly do. So a nice piece. Chat, any questions on the PPO?
No questions that I'm
Okay.
seeing, no. The card's a great benefit, though. That's amazing. Just to
Yeah,
get the preloaded card and take the worry out of, network and coverage and claims and all that business. It's just a great idea. It's a great benefit.
it really is. And then, again, the plan itself is one that's really, really strong. There's no deductible on the plan. Our prescription drug plan is really the same between either the HMO or the PPO. There's no medical deductible on this, and the PPO, even out of network, allows you to go and be able to see a primary care or a specialist just for a copay. So it doesn't tick right into that 40%, which is typical. I get that most people do not utilize a PPO as it's intended to be with out of network coverage, but you certainly have that ability to do that. And I think I touched on the other things. So next slide, Chad. This goes into now similar format, but for our HMO product. So again, the DME changed to a copay. Urgent care came down, ER went up. Again, we were able to duplicate on the outpatient diagnostic, and observation is the same methodology, but a slightly lower copay on that. It's at $310. We were able to reduce the cost on the PT, ST, and OT. I think it was already at that level of $25 on the PPO, but we wanted to move that down. And in fact, this is something a couple of years ago, it was $40, and we've been bringing it down and the rationale is that we want people to utilize this benefit, and we want them to utilize the benefit because they'll ultimately have better outcomes. And that's kind of really a lot of the philosophy that we have as an organization. So we want people accessing care. Outpatient surgical and procedures came down just a little. One back, Chad. Um, and your OTC here went from 67 a quarter to $140 a quarter. I can pretty much guarantee that that won't be there next year at that level. But it's hopefully something that we don't take away completely. But it's certainly the trends that we are seeing and the squeeze that is and financial constraints that are being put on carriers are certainly very real, and something that we are going to do our very best to continue to be able to offer all of these programs so that it's not a bait and switch as you get quite often from some of the other carriers. Something I always found very frustrating. The wellness allowance here, as again, we've always had it, but it was at $175. Now it's up to $500. So again, all the same qualifications for that. It does say access PPO there. That's a typo and one that I do need to fix, but that is for the HMO product. And then eyewear. This is something that we fought real hard for because before it was at $75, $175. I'm sorry, $150 in network, and we utilize iMed. And so when you're working with a member and you ask them who their eye doctor is, and they say Dr. Smith, you want to ask what they're actually using that doctor for. When you look at this, and we're not the only ones that use iMed, but it probably works very similar. We have our doctors, as you're doing an online provider search, you can look up ophthalmologists on that search. Those are MDs. Optometrists are ODs. And that's the big distinction. You'll not find ODs on our provider search. Those ODs are based on the iMed network. We utilize the Access network for iMed, and it's certainly a very robust one. And then we give those providers the ability to do some of the lower level medical procedures, removing a foreign body, for example. And it allows them to be able to do some of those types of things. But it's a good distinction to know from your client what they're utilizing that doctor for. But the eyewear was important because most people don't want to have to get their eyewear from an iMed facility because, it's a Pearl Vision, it's sometimes they're more expensive. A lot of people want to go to Costco. I know is a very predominant facility that we see utilized. But the out of network was only $90 before, but we got that moved up to $300. So certainly somebody should be able to find a new set of glasses that will get completely covered at that cost. So that's a nice piece. And again, the skilled nursing went up a bit on this plan. Thank you, Chad. Now, on this plan, our dental is a little bit different. And the way we do it on the HMO medical plan, our preferred HMO, is that we have a PPO dental. So the dental allows for both in and out of network coverage. It's a it's a $3,000 benefit. And it is utilizing the network with Dominion National. We've been working with Dominion National now for about 6 years and have really grown the network to be quite robust. But in the outside chance that a doctor is not in there for that member, they have the ability to go out of network. And so the coverage is the same. And when I say that, it needs a little explanation because we have contracted rates. So under this plan, when you're in network, you're working under contracted rates. So the value of that $3,000 goes quite a long way. When the person goes out of network to utilize that money, we lose that contracted rate. But the way that we allow the spend is that we base it off of the contracted rate. To give you a simple example, let's say that we allow $80 for a routine cleaning. We cover our cleanings at 100%. Our dental plan does not have a deductible. So in network, I go to see that doctor. I get my cleaning done. It's not going to cost me anything because it's under that contracted rate. I go to the same procedure, but I'm now out of network with that provider. That provider is likely going to charge more than that $80 that we allow. So let's say they charge $100 for that cleaning. So we will pay 100% up to the $80, up to that contracted level. And then the balance bill takes over beyond that point. And that works the same whether it's our minor procedures, which we cover at 80%, or our major services, which we cover at a 50%. We are covering implants as well. So that's certainly something that I know a lot of the other carriers have moved away from. Good chance we may too. So certainly if you can get that opportunity for a client, that now is the time to do so. Again, I think there's a ton of value that we have in this plan. We have $140 a quarter allowance for the OTC, $500 on the annual allowance. When you start to add up all of these benefits, it really is a very value-rich plan. So if there's no questions, I'll go to the next slide.
No questions that I can see.
Okay. Everyone pretty much knows how to read a benefit sheet here, so I won't go line by line. But I think you'll get a little sense of where we stand. $395 for hospital. It is the same on either the HMO or the PPO. As I said, our dental is the same. I'm sorry, the prescriptions are the same, whether it's on the HMO or the PPO. So we use the same formulary, same structure. So it's nice when you're talking with a client that drugs are not going to be a factor as to which plan you want to be on. Dental maybe, or flexibility, but certainly not that. So we did switch over to a plan that is a hybrid. So we do have co-pays. So there's no deductible on our prescription drug plan. And we're still at $0 for tier 1 and then $5 for tier 2 for your preferred pharmacies. And preferred pharmacies are CVS, Rite Aid, Walmart. There's a large list. Costco is on there, I believe. So we're updating our quick reference guide, which is a nice 2-page document that you can kind of have in your briefcase, is the intent of it. That'll answer all of these questions and provide you with links and access to how to get to there. We're updating the Trinity information on there. It should have that today, so we'll get that certainly emailed out to you, Stephanie, so you can disseminate.
Great.
But
We actually,
this
we
is
actually record these webinars, so we send out the recording to everybody that registered. So if you send that information over to me, I'll include it on the.
Yeah, absolutely.
Perfect. Thank you.
So and then for us, tiers 3 and 4 and 5 are now co-pays. Co-insurance. And so I think you saw Aetna do this last year. They moved to a co-insurance model, and they were still very, very successful with their plan, the Discover plan. We went this route really with the intent that we felt others were going to head this way as well. We did not see that so strongly in the market. There are some that are out there that probably should have a little bit more protection for themselves, but don't. But I think that we really feel that this was the right way to go. This is the path that we're really, I think, looking to continue, make some refinements to it. But I still think that we made the right choice, and I think we'll see other carriers heading in this direction as well. There was a lot of ambiguity that took place as we were heading into AEP last year. And so for the carriers, we have to submit our plan designs much earlier in the year, in May. And what ultimately that leaves is this time frame between when we submit and when everything is approved, and then when the CMS on October 1st, formularies all come out. And I think everyone could pretty much agree that there was a lot of confusion that took place throughout the summer as to how the IRA and M3P were all going to work. And I think that, this route that we took, while it may have precluded us from some sales because others went a different method, I think that we were really feel that we're in a good place as to the reasons that we chose this model. And I think you'll see that others are going to start to adopt. So I don't know, N3P is certainly, it had a lot of hype. There's probably not too many clients of yours that are enrolled in the plan. I know that we have a pretty low rate of adoption. I think the estimates that we had initially were 2%, and I think it's probably even less than that in reality. So I know that there's some unusual aspects to it, and the way it plays out and the way that the government calculates things. The fact that we don't have a deductible really gets to the out-of-pocket spend, that troop for that member, to be about $1,500 on our plan. So if they're using lots and lots of medication, that gets them to that quote-unquote $2,000 limit. They're really only spending about $1,500 on our plan in most cases. Obviously, that varies by drug, but because they're getting credit for the deductible that they didn't have to spend, because we're paying that, because we're above what the standard Part D model is. They actually get credit for us not having a deductible. So that's why it actually lowers their out-of-pocket exposure. So that's kind of a nice component to it. Next slide. And this goes a little bit deeper into the wellness allowance. Again, brand new for the PPO at $250. We upped it from $175 to $500 on the HMO. But you'll see here that, alternative therapies, body work, mind therapies, even massage therapy, home fitness equipment, tracking devices. So it's really nice. And we did confirm that, like pickleball or tennis would certainly work towards this. And even a personal trainer at a gym would be something that would be covered under this plan. So next question. Pharmacy changes. I don't know if we can go into this a little bit more. Just some of the methodology that we took to, lowering the max out-of-pocket cost. The Medicare prescription plan, M3P, it is something that is there for some protective capabilities for that member, so they don't have to outlay that cash all at once. It's not going to lower their costs at all. It just spreads them out over a larger period of time. But for some, when you start to do the math, because you continue to add more drugs onto that M3P formula, it ultimately, they may be spending more at the end of the year than they would have. It's not like it's a flat dollar amount throughout the year. It would be if they only got one drug, but as they continue to renew that drug or refill that drug, it adds to that cost, and it can be quite cumbersome. So it's almost like thinking of paying the minimum on a credit card. Your balance doesn't go away. You chip away at it, but it keeps adding on. So as we see us getting further into the year, there's probably less and less of a reason why someone would actually want to be on M3P, unless they had some, ridiculously significant cost in prescription costs. But again, it's still capping it. But formulary changes, we did make some of those. We made some tier changes, trying to get our drug in formulary into such a way that it was competitive. It was something that was utilized, did not impact our existing book. That's something that we're always very cognizant about. The changes that we make aren't just to attract new members. The changes that we make, we take significant look at our existing membership and how it's would affect them, and how it would alter where their perception is of us, and how we would want to do things. So we really are looking at that. And now, so we finished off the year with just about 10,000. We came in second. I know that the CMS numbers are supposed to be out. I believe they are just about now. They've been very slow in getting those out, but we had an incredibly strong and just absolutely put on a ton of membership that our sales team is certainly thrilled about, and happy to be part of. And then the coinsurance, we made the changes there. This is just a slide here that kind of shows you the evolution from 24 to 25 of what we did with the tiers 3 and 4, how they went from a copay to coinsurance. But this is the piece that's been incredibly well received. I think we're coming up on just about $1 million of spend that is going towards this program, and we'll go over that by the time that it runs out. But this is something that has been really the second year that we've done this, and last year it was very popular. So we were able to bring it back. We had to add another level on because of last year. We had a performer that went over that. Now we've got dozens that are in the platinum level that really have shown the evolution of our plan, and our network and our product, and just the consistency and the things that we put forth. So this is money. It's reimbursement money towards, it says marketing, but essentially it's just about anything that it takes to run your office. So it's things from Staples, if you have office supplies from Staples, printer ink, your cell phone bill, mileage, postage, marketing, leads. So it really goes to quite a large variety of things, and certainly anyone that's RTS with us has received that information. We can share that with you too, Stephanie, so that you've got that for anyone that by chance might not be. And like you said, we've got a month to go. So we're knocking on the end of February tomorrow, and there's still a month to go here. I know there's a lot of disruption still happening in the marketplace, and I know that there's some nervous clients that are out there. So if there's opportunity you think that exists here, and you're not 100% sure, and you need some assistance in talking through that with one of us. We've got 3 other broker relationship managers that are on the team, and everyone's assigned to somebody. So if you don't know who that is yet, we'll certainly work that out for you. But Chad, if you could just go back one, I just wanted to make sure that the levels were, I kind of got ahead of myself. 10 is what gets you onto the board essentially. And so 10 new applications with us, they don't have to be new to Medicare, but just new applications to CarePartners, gets you $50 per application. So $500 because we go back to app number 1. If you wrote 15 or 20, you're still going to get $50 per application for each one of those. When you get to the level of 25, that number changes from $50 per application up to $100 per application. And yes, of course, we go back to app number 1. So that's, at 24 apps, you go from what would be 11 or 1200 to going to one more app gets you, 2500. And again, the gold is at 50, does the same thing, gets you up to $150 per app, back to app number one, and platinum is $200 of reimbursement. So certainly a nice extra piece to have, peace of mind knowing that it's there to help you out and help you grow your book of business. That's really what we want to do with this. Get the money into the broker's hands. Next slide now, Chad.
That's an amazing opportunity. That program
Yeah,
is,
it really is.
I mean, as competitive as your plans are, it wouldn't be hard to get to 10. So
No.
that's a great opportunity.
Even in March, if you were just getting started, OEP, the changes that are there, we do know there's some contract negotiations that are going on. We just heard about another one that became aware to us yesterday. We're adding. I'm sure that there will be times where we're dealing with contract negotiations ourselves, but if there's peace of mind that you can have for your client and know that there'll be somewhere that's consistent. We're a local carrier. We're a nonprofit organization. We're a joint venture partner with Hartford Healthcare, and we have just a really strong plan that has just been continuously moving forward. And we're not going to be in Fairfield County in the near future. There's a lot of components that take place down there that just don't make it financially viable right now. The most important one is that CMS only reimburses you at 95% of the rate for Medicare reimbursement. So you're starting off in the hole. The other pieces are Medicare Advantage is a bit of a lower penetration in Fairfield County than the rest of the state. It's about 35% down there versus 50 plus in the rest of the state. And without having a D-SNP product, that precludes us from a good portion of those people there. So all in all, we want to improve where we are and make it better, and have the strength that is going to keep us in the game, and continue knocking down the barriers that the hurdles that we've talked about, year over year, knocking down each hurdle, and just making the plan that much better. We have obviously a very strong technical component to our plan. The broker sales tools. It's our broker portal, certainly something that has been highly regarded. It comes with a personalized URL. Obviously, we've got broker support. We've got the team there, picture that you see, and want you to be able to realize that you can reach out to us. We have, forever been assisting brokers with understanding our plan. We want you to be able to confidently convey what our benefits are, how the plan works. It's one thing to spreadsheet somebody and say, well, they tick these 3 boxes here. Another thing is when you're actually utilizing the plan and when your members there and they're actively, involved in utilizing the services and benefits that we've got. You want to have that knowledge that they're going to get what they expect. And when that doesn't happen, and it doesn't happen at times, certainly we're not flawless in any stretch of the imagination. But it's how quickly we respond to getting that done. And that's why this team here is, something that I'm very proud of, and have risen to the occasion. We put on, like I said, a lot of business this year, and the home office enrollment's a little challenged with the amount that we brought in, but they have been done a fantastic job of getting everyone enrolled and processed. I know that there's some changes that are coming up with like the FEMA regulations, but the way that you can submit an application when that takes place. That's going to happen in April. But if you've got questions, I always touted myself as a Medicare resource, and the team here is incredibly knowledgeable about Medicare. And if they don't have the answer, we know where to get it, and we know how to help your client. So we're really there to help you grow your book of business, and not just with CarePartners. We recognize that if we're able to help you grow your book of business, we know we're going to get our share. And so that's ultimately what we're looking to do. We offer things, opportunities, tabling opportunities. We have tabling opportunities at 5 hospitals currently, and we're going to start opening it up to some of the Hartford Healthcare Family Health Centers as well. That'll give us some additional exposure down into Fairfield County. So if that's something that you're interested in and learning about, please reach out to us so that we can coordinate that and try to get you involved in promoting yourself out in the marketplace. So I don't know. Is there any questions, Stephanie, or is this?
No, the box is,
No?
oh, I'm sorry, there's one. Hang on one second here. There's one question. Let's see. Can you discuss their network? They want to know any chance that Nuvance Health doctors and hospitals will be in network. I didn't hear you mention that one.
No, that's the new thorn in the side. So while we're not in Fairfield, obviously, so that's Norwalk and Danbury hospitals. We are in Litchfield County, so the western side of Litchfield, not having New Milford and Sharon is a bit of a challenge to that western side, and that's our next ask is to get that on board. But
Next challenge for sure. But I
yeah,
mean, it sounds like you have a pretty
yeah, and I
well-built
know
network
Crowe has
already.
got Crowe has got a lot of brokers in Fairfield and down in Litchfield and the western side of the state, and so I do acknowledge that it seems that that's a little bit more difficult for you. We do have network in Fairfield County, so we have Bridgeport, we have St. V's. We've always had Stanford Hospital as well, and now we have Greenwich Hospital too. So we certainly can support the New Haven border. Those people. Milford actually was our 4th best selling town, if you can imagine that. So the top 4 towns for us were all in New Haven, and Wallingford was number 1, but Milford was actually number 4, and that's a lot to be said. 2 years ago, we weren't even a New Haven County plan. We had the service area, but we weren't selling down there. So it's been a huge turnaround, and that has opened up the eyes for some of the Fairfield County brokers that have clients that come up north of the border. So I'm down here in Fairfield County myself, so it'll be a double-edged sword when we do finally get Fairfield County, because it's harder to travel south than it is to go north. But everybody
Right.
down here knows that already. So yeah.
Yeah, well, that was really our only question. I'm gonna leave this screen for you guys to write down contact information for another minute or so. Then I'll swap back over. If you don't have anything to add, I'll give everybody back a little bit at a time in their day. It looks like we're giving you back
Yeah, I
about 50.
just want to open it up to the team if they have anything to say, add, or promote.
Yeah, guys, do you have anything you want to add?
I'm all set. Great job, Dave.
Thank you.
Same here, Dave. I'm all set.
Okay, well, hopefully sometime I'll meet you guys in person, but it's nice to meet you virtually. I really appreciate you supporting our team, and thank you for coming on today. It was great information. I think everybody can benefit from it. It looks like you guys are very competitive as far as plan design, as far as plan structure. You have some pretty incredible features. Just wanted to thank you guys for coming on. Want to remind everybody on the call, if you're not already contracted with Care Partners, please reach out to us. We can make that happen for you. As you can see, they have some great benefits and some so incredible programs to help incentivize you to make more sales. As we all said before, there's still a month to go on OEP. Really important to get out there and make sure your clients are all in the right programs for them. Don't forget that Crowe offers the $500 a month lead program. If you want to know more about that, if you haven't taken advantage of it, please give us a call and we can talk about it. We do our T65 seminar program where we help support you by paying half of the vendor fee for your first seminar. Everybody knows those T65 sales are what everybody's looking for because we do make more money on the new to Medicare clients. Want to thank everybody again for joining us today. We do record all of our webinars, so you will find this out on our YouTube channel. Anybody that registered for today's webinar is going to get a copy of the recording. And then I think that Dave was going to send me over some information along with the slides so we can include that for you guys as well. So we'll get that out to you just as soon as we can. I've checked the chat and the question box again. There's nothing else in there, guys. So I can't thank you enough for coming on with us today and joining us. If you have any questions, please feel free to call the office or you can call my cell. The information's right up on the screen there for you. We're always happy to help. I'm going to go ahead and end our webinar for today. Thank you, guys.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Have a great day, everybody.
You do the same.